There is a cohort, a segment of the buyer population that does not fit into a box. They resist agent representation, yet they're utterly helpless and incapable of self-representation. I call them misfit buyers, and I'm telling you, beware, because misfit buyers must conform and submit to your terms as their agent, or they should be shunned. Now, there have always been misfit buyers, but the NAR settlement and subsequent laws made it even worse. Take the new listing agreement as an example. It has a line where the seller pays their listing agent more if the buyer's unrepresented. Why? Because unrepresented buyers are needy, clingy, and more work for the listing agent. To be clear, this provision is not for dual agency. It's additional compensation to the listing agent for putting up with misfit buyers. And although it may be well-intentioned, it's a terrible provision. Why? Because it implies the listing agent will need to assist the misfit buyer, which should not be happening. If a misfit buyer claims to not need representation, then clearly they don't need help, right? So the misfit buyer can write up their own offer, counters, and addendums. The misfit buyer can draft their own requests for repairs and whatever else comes up throughout the life of the transaction. The misfit buyer clause in the listing agreement effectively bribes the listing agent to babysit and spoon feed misfit buyers. It's garbage, and from a compliance standpoint, I'm totally against it. Doing paperwork for a misfit buyer can easily cross the line of tacit or implied representation, or at the very least, opens you up to being blamed for something they don't like because they relied on your guidance. Because, misfit buyers don't know what they're doing. If you are a listing agent and an unrepresented buyer contacts you to make an offer, then you should offer to be their paid representative. If they agree, congratulations. You're a dual agent and you'll make more money. If they decline and prefer to be unrepresented, you've identified a misfit buyer. Treat them like you would any buyer's agent. Tell them you're looking forward to receiving their offer, and that's it. The problem is that misfit buyers can't write an offer. They don't know how, or they don't have the right form, or some other excuse. The thing is, that's their problem, not yours. But too many agents adopt this problem. I won't have it. The misfit buyer must either hire a representative like you or me, or another agent, or an attorney if they're incapable of going at it alone. Don't fall into their trap and offer assistance. Do not send a blank car form to a misfit buyer. Aside from the fact that it violates your terms of usage for car forms, you're giving away a product you paid for free. Do you love working for free that much? I doubt it. Some agents are weak, and misfit buyers prey on those agents. Don't be one of them. An unrepresented buyer should be afforded the same courtesy as a buyer's agent, no more, no less. And if they can't hack it on their own and ask for help, you tell them it sounds like you need representation, and then propose professional representation, ideally yours. Now, what I've said pertains to listing agents, but misfit buyers prey on buyer's agents too. While agents have successfully adapted to the new realtor requirement and California state law requiring a buyer representation agreement, misfit buyers refuse to comply. Yes, I'm talking about the same buyers that foolishly celebrated the NAR settlement as the end of a real estate agency. Little did they know that Zillow, the misfit's favorite secret weapon, would lobby the state to make a law requiring a buyer sign a representation agreement, pledging a commission. But misfit buyers are allergic to representation agreements, specifically that audacious clause where they pledge compensation to a professional working on their behalf. Never mind the glaring fact the seller almost always picks up the buyer's tab, the misfit buyer's brain can't comprehend paying a professional for services rendered. Now, misfit buyers will always exist. The bigger problem is weak agents that give in to their nonsense. Often these agents will show homes or write offers without a representation agreement, which is unlawful. Misfit buyers will convince weak agents to draft a representation agreement with no buyer's agent compensation. That is unlawful too, unless the buyer's agent is truly working for $0. I mean, start to finish, not $1 is paid at closing. At that point, you don't have a business. If all your prospects and clients act like misfits, you don't have a business. If firing misfit buyers means you don't have any clients left, then you didn't have a business to begin with. Charge for your services, set boundaries, and never ever give in to misfit buyers.